Welcome back, everyone. We are taking a live look at the U.S. Capitol. Lawmakers are on their Independence Day holiday recess. They will be back in session on Monday, so that means we are able to snag Congressman Wesley Bell of Missouri's 1st District in St. Louis. Congressman, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. Good to be here.
It's great to see you. Now, we had a little conversation, a very short one at 6:45, so we're going to try to extend some of our topics that we wanted to get to. Can we first of all start talking about the Supreme Court? A lot of big high-profile decisions were made just recently, whether we're talking about transgender athletes or birthright citizenship. Did you see a ruling that stood out to you that might have a lasting impact or a bigger impact in St. Louis and beyond?
Yeah, I think a couple of them. The ruling on TPS with immigrants from Haiti and Syria was devastating.
Yeah.
Folks who came here under dire circumstances, looking for a better life. These are folks overwhelmingly creating jobs, starting jobs, contributing to our economy, and being told that they are no longer protected, even though they were here legally, is terrible. But then also on the other side, the Supreme Court finally got it right with respect to their ruling with we had the birthright citizenship.
I didn't want to prompt you, but I was wondering.
I get it. It's Trump versus Barbara. Yes. And I'm like, why did they don't care about the case name? But Trump versus Barbara reaffirmed birthright citizenship, which is in our Constitution, and it shouldn't, in my opinion, it shouldn't even have been heard. Mm-hmm. It should have been that case should have been rejected outright, and folks who are born here, which is a constitutional foundational principle, should have never even been in question.
Yeah. Let's switch to some frustration from our viewers. So we've had some viewers who are very frustrated with mail delays. And in some cases, you know, these are people who are seniors who get their medication sent to them or bills that get lost. Now, I know you've had a solution. I think it is the STL Up to Par Act.
That's it. You're
okay.
On it.
Well, I do read the news sometimes. What does that look like, and what does success look like for that act?
Well, and I think that's a really good question, because first and foremost, folks have to understand that so many working families, seniors, folks with disabilities rely on the mail to get their prescriptions, to pay bills. And so this is something that's not just something that you can brush under the rug. This is something that folks rely on and need. And so we want to make certain that not only are these things being addressed, because we've seen these things of millions of pieces of parcels of mail that have just been sitting, potentially lost or what have you. And Lord knows what information is there and what folks need. And so I've been able to rally the entire congressional delegation in Missouri. Yeah. We've met with the Postmaster General, and my legislation gets at making certain that not only are those reforms implemented, but that we're tracking them, because if you don't track the information, you don't know if what you're doing is effective.
Well, and I will just tell a personal story real quickly. I volunteer for an organization. We give books to kids. You use medium mail. You use the post office, because you can get like a big box for like $6 out to something. But the post office lost like 3 of those boxes. It was $1,000 worth of books. And then we tried to track. You cannot track it. It is so difficult. So I can only imagine if you are a senior who has medication sent to you, it is so hard to actually track and rectify those situations. Do you think that, how fast do you think we could actually see relief from folks?
And so when we met with the Postmaster General, we were assured that every reform that was recommended in the report that was done would be followed. We met with frontliners in the post office who are doing the work. And let me be clear, this is not on them. They don't have the resources they need. This is higher up with the administration and the lack of funding. And so we got to make sure that the frontline folks that work in the post office have all the resources, they're not understaffed, so that they can do their jobs, because currently they're not getting what they need.
Gotcha. All right. So let's turn now to the war with Iran. You just said even at 6, and you said other places that this is an unauthorized war, and that this cost could really actually go to something else, like healthcare subsidies that you wanted. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, first and foremost, understanding I serve on the Armed Services Committee. I serve on oversight. I was recently appointed to Foreign Affairs. If we're going to go into war, 3 questions need to be asked. Why are we doing it? What are the objectives, and what's the exit strategy? I've availed myself of the classified briefing process. None of those questions have been answered. And so when we look at the money that we're spending, and let me be clear, Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. Iran needs to stop funding these proxies, Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis that are creating and with the goal of instability in the Middle East and around the world. But until we see the intelligence that Iran is a nuclear threat, because we were told that the nuclear threat was obliterated. Now we're told that no, we got to stop them. We are just throwing money at a situation that we don't even know what the objectives are, because the administration has not been transparent.
But let me ask you, if a supplemental, if leadership brings a supplemental to the floor to pay for that Iran operation with no HUD disaster money, for example, coming to St. Louis, do you vote for it anyway? What do you think?
That would be very problematic.
Okay.
The NDAA, we would like to see some of that relief come through the NDAA. And that is obviously important to folks in St. Louis. That said, serving on the Armed Services Committee, if there is intelligence showing that Iran is close to having a nuclear weapon again, which I have not seen up to this point, then obviously that's something that we have to take seriously.
Let's talk about something good, because you helped secure $25 million for Lambert International Airport, which is exciting. Why is that investment so important? And, why do we need it?
And I'll say this over and over again, we have to be focused on regional growth and development. This region, St. Louis region, has been dying a slow death. We've been losing population, we've been losing industry. And if we're going to start turning that around and awakening this sleeping giant that we call home, we're gonna have to be serious about investing in our infrastructure, but also expanding our transportation footprint. We're in the center of the country, we are geographically located to be a transportation powerhouse, and so we're gonna do everything that we can to invest in our airport, because that brings jobs, that brings families back here, that brings industry back here, and that is how we get this region moving forward.
Okay, so talking about moving forward in unity, there were Cori Bush supporters out there who thought that the campaign that you two had left some lasting kind of divisions in the city. So I'm wondering, what are you doing to earn trust and to tell voters that we are united moving forward? How do you build that unity?
What I've done from the beginning is do the work. This region, we can't afford to have someone in there that's not focused on St. Louis. And so what I do every day when I get up is figure out what are the needs and how can I help us get there. And so when I talk to folks that are out in the communities, they know that when I was a city councilman, I worked to bring body cameras, which was controversial at the time, and now everyone loves it. When I was county prosecutor, expanding treatment programs, we reduced the jail population at one point for low-level nonviolent offenders by 30%, and with a single-digit reoffender rate. And so in Congress, we're continuing that work. We're going to continue to focus on the issues that some people have forgotten, like gun violence, that we just see a young mother killed in front of her children.
It was terrible. We did it as breaking news here.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so we still got a lot of work that's here, and we're going to try to do everything we can to get folks working together, but also continue to stay focused on doing the work.
And let's end on an up note. What are you most excited about or looking forward to for your work, and how can the community support your work?
So what I'm excited about is the idea that I believe that if you're looking at St. Louis as a stock, the time to invest is now, because our best times are ahead of us. I believe that we have stakeholders, We have folks in place now, including myself, that are ready to lead the effort to move this region forward. And so I'm excited about our healthcare footprint. We have a very large defense footprint, our transportation footprint. I think that this region is just getting started, and I plan to do everything that I can to bring this region back to what it was at the turn of the century, as we start this St. Louis revitalization.
Congressman, thank you so much for your time this morning and for your
Thanks for
energy.
having
We
me.
really appreciate all that you're doing. So appreciate your work. Thank you.